Well, good evening, folks. Hope everybody's doing better than I am. My stomach's been going through a mortal combat with some bad chicken. I'm not going to name the restaurant because I'm sure it wasn't their fault, but I don't like to eat out too many places. I like to prepare my food at home, and I eat very bland things naturally, but I had lunch today, long story short. It didn't agree with me, and I've been very uncomfortable all day. Feeling better, but not good enough to sit over the charts. So I'm sitting here in my lazy boy recliner in my trading office, looking around at many pairs of shoes that I have to find locations for. So I want to talk a little bit about monthly goals, and I want to discuss, in my opinion, the secret to reaching them. And before I get into it, I'm going to be, excuse me, I just want to preface it by saying, obviously, who you learn from, who you listen to, whatever stream of information, advice, experiences, whether they be fictional or rooted in real success from other people that talk about what you should or shouldn't do. Understand that obviously each of us have an opinion, okay? And it's fine to hold an opinion, and it's also completely understandable for others to have an opinion of what should or should be done in trading, because all of us are going to walk differently in this industry. You're all going to have different objectives. You're going to have different results. Some of you are going to do exceedingly well, and some of you are still going to fail. And that's just the reality of this industry, because it's very difficult to overcome yourself. And emotions and greed and fear of missing out or trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the influencers on social media, that unfortunately is a pitfall. So putting that aside for a moment, but we'll come back to it in a later portion of this discussion. The idea of having a trading goal, a percentage return that you're aiming for, I believe it is advantageous, and I'll go over the reasons why I do believe it's advantageous. And I'll try to slice and dice the opinions of others that I've seen on social media over the years, and also read in books and saw articles and people commenting, and you see them on CNBC. Oh, I don't believe we should have trading goals, because the first thing that comes out of their mouth, and I want you to write this down. What? I'm driving, ICT. Just make sure you make a mental note that this is what you should be doing later on, but make a note of it in your trading journal today, okay, for January 10th of 2023, that you must have a target to aim for, or you'll hit nothing. And nothing in this industry is failure. It's worse and beneath break even. So coming right out the gate, I'm just going to say that the folks that say you should not have a goal or aim for a percentage each month, number one, let me put this right out there, they don't know how to trade consistently profitable, and they're not shooting with a high accuracy rate. That's the only reason why anyone would have that opinion. Anyone. Now, I'm going to teach you in this discussion how to have a high accuracy, and you're going to see it this year. Trust me, these are the lessons that help ground you. But I'm also going to spice it up a little bit, so that way you want to do exceptionally well. You want to win competitions. You want to win friends and influence neighbors. This is the discussion for it. But write in your journal, underneath that, you have to have a goal, that anyone that has stated that you should not have a percentage return goal each month, they are misinformed or inadequate. So should you be listening to those individuals? No. No. Now, I'm not going to sit here this evening and try to butter you all up and talk about how you can be doing 200R multiple trades, risking 2%. Because if anyone could do that consistently, they would put themselves on the billionaire list rather quickly. Okay. And you don't need to do a whole lot to do very well, but you need to do the one thing consistently. That means your model. And we're going to talk about that as we go. So I want to think about how I started and what got me into trading. And you've heard this, obviously, but I'm going to give you like the 3 or 4 sentence version of it. I wanted to make $1,000 a month. That was my goal. Okay. So on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. in 1992, I concocted this idea that I would aim for a way of making $1,000 per month that could be saved and put aside. And by the time I was 40 years old, I would not need to work. Now, contrast that with what you see on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, IML. Everybody wants to be a Lambo owner. Everybody wants to be, in a $2 million house now. Everybody wants to, be the best of everything that materialism can pay for. And while that's nothing, there's nothing wrong with that per se. I don't believe that young folks or older folks should look at that and say, yeah, that's why I want to get into trading. Because that, number one, that image, you have to continuously work towards maintaining it. Because once you do it, once you start it, you have to keep doing something more or you grow stale. Just look at them out there. They're all trying to get the next Ferrari. Why don't they have a Bugatti? I am so tempted. I'm so tempted to go out and buy a Bugatti. That way I can be the first one and say, okay, catch up. $30,000 for an oil change, that just doesn't make sense for me. Even where I'm from, I think that's just ridiculous. But I digress. I believe that if you are paying attention as to what I'm showing you, and I see, I guess it's a guy. I don't know if it's a guy. I'm afraid to even say that anymore. I might get canceled. But one of the subscribers and followers on my Twitter feed today was like, we want to see the truth, ICT. We want to see you calling the markets. Well, I have been. I've been doing it, consistently. I'm pointing it out in your chart, on your chart live. And why am I doing that? Number one, I'm keeping myself engaged so that way when we do live streams, I'm not rusty. Because like anything, it's a skill set. You have to be in sync with the marketplace. A shooting range participant, someone that has a firearm, if you don't shoot your firearm regularly, you won't maintain that high accuracy. It's a skill that has to be continuously honed or you'll lose it. Driving skills, racers drive, these fast cars. They have to be continuously working in their machine or they'll lose their rhythm, they'll lose their edge. And you don't want to lose that in the markets because it takes a couple weeks sometimes if you're brand new to get in sync. For me, it takes about a couple days, but right now we're in some really weird market conditions. So I'm showing you, and trust me, we're still in the same topic here, but I want to make sure you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing on Twitter. I'm showing you small little snippets in price action, not 200R multiple trades, not 50R, not 20R, but you've seen several 10, 8, 5, and you've seen 1-to-1. All of them are rooted on the things that I've taught either in my YouTube content or the mentorship model that I shared last year. Now, some of you are looking at some of the trades I'm doing. You're like, oh, I don't understand this. I'm confused. I don't see the 2022 model in that setup. You're right. You're right. Because that's not the only thing I'm going to be teaching you this year. I'm going to be teaching you how to read price in any condition. Because if you can't adopt that skill, you become a one-trick pony. Now, that's not terribly awful when it comes to being a specialist, doing one thing, trading the S&P over NASDAQ or Dow or Russell. You want to pick one market that you want to warm up to, start a long-term relationship with. Okay. And young men, this is one of those discussions I revert back to. How are you doing in your personal relationships with your significant other? If you're not monogamous, that characteristic is going to find its way into your trading, and you're going to look constantly at what's this market that this person's making money in. Let me stop what I'm doing in this one and start following that market. And that, unfortunately, causes people to jump around all the time. And it's worse than system hopping because you're all chasing the better market right now. And excluding, obviously, crypto, because I don't think crypto is my forte. And I'm going to just leave that one alone because you know my opinion about it. But Forex, for a long time, you all watched me teach and operate and engage in the foreign exchange market. And I've made public last year why I have moved away from that and returned back to my roots in futures. So while there are movements in the FX market, and there will be movements, don't think that it's going to be just like it was today, stagnant. Okay, Euro looks like it was, asleep. You can see small little microstructure setups in that, but I don't think that a new student should gravitate to those lessons. And me as an educator, as a mentor, it's not advantageous for you to learn how to do that. Now, for someone like a charter member that's been with me since 2016, I believe that they can go into the euro dollar today in January 10th, 2023, and down into a 1-minute chart and maybe a 30-second chart. They can find micro market structure in there and trade the same thing that's shown on that 2022 model, but be forced to be very nimble with it. 5 pips, 7 pips, and then get out, you're done. But to me, I don't believe that's something that you should be trying to do as a new trader. So what I'm doing is I'm taking you on Twitter and I'm prompting you to look at specific things in the marketplace. Whether you're able to see it live or not, you can go back and see they are absolutely right before it happens. And I'm taking your attention to the very candles that make the most sense as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I am calling the market. I'm telling you where it's going to go beforehand. That's where my focus. And then I'm showing you how I engaged in it. So when we do our live streams, I'm going to be talking about how the market moves from one place to the next. And most of you that are looking for signals are going to be very frustrated, but I want you to stop and listen to me right now. If you cheat yourself out of this experience, you will not know how to go forward with whatever I've taught on my YouTube channel. And I mean that sincerely. I'm giving you this opportunity so that way you can disarm yourself about having to be profitable right away, because that's unrealistic. If we were all in an auditorium, okay, we were in a big location, and I said, okay, who here, this is your first year learning how to trade? I guarantee you there'd be more people raising their hand up than not, because word of mouth is spreading. All of these folks that are wasting their money in IML and things like that, they're all talking about me now. They're saying, hey, look, there's a guy on YouTube, and this is where they're learning it from, and they're trying to teach it. And that's great. Keep doing it. The idea of sitting in front of the charts with me live, I'm going to bridge that gap that you all have right now. Even for those that are skilled and you can find your setups and other things that you trade, I promise you, you're going to learn things about price actions you've never even thought about. You never even figured that they would even possibly be in price. Now, the reason why this is important is because it will help you identify what you're trying to do as a trader, because you have to have a multiplier. If you want a multiple of 3 to 1, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's rather easy to do. But don't negate or scoff at a setup that would be 1 to 1, because I'm going to tell you something. I can find 15 to 20 1-to-1 setups every single day. Now, How many do you need to do well? One. And if you made one, you stop for the week, isn't that profitable? Yes, absolutely. So when you listen to folks, and I've seen so many people over the internet, on YouTube, mostly YouTube, because it's a platform that people like to get on there. They'll talk and they like to hear themselves talk. And I don't like to hear myself talk, but I want to make sure you understand there's a different way to do this. And when I hear folks put on their authority hat and they share their MyFX books and they talk down to everyone else like they're doing something that no one else can do, those returns that they show, they're rather, well, wanting. And when you see individuals talk from that soapbox and they try to tell you you shouldn't have goals, isn't it pretty obvious that they live by that because their returns are lackluster? And they have like this heart attack type, if they have anything going up in an equity curve, it looks jagged like a roller coaster you wouldn't want to ride. Or it's just drifting down and drawdown and they haven't connected it for a month or so. And then when they turn it back on, they're in drawdown. So these individuals, they're going to tell you, don't have goals, don't do these things. Don't A trader shouldn't have pip goals a week. Traders shouldn't have a percentage return goal per month, because here's the thing, and this is what you want to write in your book too. In your journal, you're going to write, they will say that the market can't be timed and you can never know what the market's going to offer you, and put quotations around that. And right next to that, I want you to write, this is a lie, and then highlight and underline that. Now, I have had 3 decades of time looking at things that were a complete waste of my time and money and attention. And in the beginning, my first 3 or 4 years was just misinformation. I was overloaded with misinformation. And if you're a casual listener, or you're just starting to dabble in price action and you want to learn how to trade, looking at all my information on that YouTube channel, it could be rather intimidating. And if you're new and you're trying to figure out what it is that you should be focusing on right now, I think personally, if you're brand new, absolutely first time coming to the channel, just look at the 41 videos that I did last year in the 2022 mentorship. That'll put you up to speed. That way, at least you'll know exactly what I'm trying to do as a foundation in the live streams that we begin in February 7th. You'll also understand what I'm helping you build on when I'm prompting you on Twitter. Some of you are saying that you're confused. You don't know what's going on, and that's normal. It'll all make more sense when you're watching it over the chart with me. But for those individuals that have been around me for a while, they know what the premise is that I'm pointing to. And most of them are learning how to do better than they thought they were doing before they started doing that, because they've ignored real-time tape reading, and you have to do that. And that's the only real benefit of me being live with you, because I'm going to force you to look at the candlesticks individually. And I'm going to outline what the algorithm is likely to do, why it should do it, why it shouldn't do other things. And by seeing that week after week after week, this conversation and all my bullet point notes that we're covering is going to be much more meaningful to you. Okay, so this Twitter space, I don't keep a running log of it. There's a lot of you that are taking them and putting them on their YouTube channel, and that's cool. I don't care. I don't care what you're doing with them. I don't have a record of these. So I know that Twitter usually, I think after a little bit of time, they just go away or something. But there's many of you all out here that are recording them and putting them on your YouTube channel. There's another guy does it, puts them on Spotify, and that's cool. I got no issues with that either. But you want to go back to this one on the week of Christmas of this year, because we will be in holiday mode. I won't be trading. I'll be back in that quiet, not doing too much of just chit-chatting, no real trading. But I want you to come back to this discussion and we're not done. I haven't even got to the meat of it yet. This is all just the monologue. This will mean much more to you then. And when you go into 2024, you will have exactly what you're looking for. You'll know exactly what you're doing. Because this right now, for many of you, is year one. Year one. Year one, 95% of the time is not a profitable year for any of us when we first start trading. It wasn't for me. It was not for me. 1992 was my first year, and I started literally 6 weeks away from the end of the year. Exactly when I don't want to trade now. See the difference? Because I felt like I had to do it real quick. And I had no idea what I was doing. And then in 1993, I had a flash of luck and then crashed and burned. So year two, not profitable. So it's normal for you, and let me remind you all, it is absolutely normal for you to be learning and engaging in deep study, exercises, back testing, forward testing, tape reading. I'm literally going to take you through the real process that I've always taught in private mentorship that 90% of my students just simply didn't want to do. So you're going to have no excuse this year. You're going to know what it looks like to back test, how to journal, how to look at the end of the week, how to look for setups, how to go back and find your model. All those things I'm literally going to walk through like a student would be expected of me. I'm going to do it with you. So that way you can see exactly what it is that you should have been chewing on every single day and every single week, every single month, every quarter. And then by the end of the year, now you have something to work with. Then you make a decision. How do you want to trade? What setup are you going to focus on? All of those ideas that you all see repeated tweets and questions in my comment sections of my videos. How do I do this? And what should I do about that? You're going to see that many of those questions are personal. You have to come to those conclusions independent and uniquely on your own. You can't have input from someone else. Just like the topic of this discussion, monthly goals, when they'll tell you you shouldn't have that. If someone tells you they don't believe that a trader should have monthly goals, I guarantee you, if you looked at their P&L and their month-to-month stats, they're not consistent. They're not consistent. So what is the multiplier? I apologize, you're going to hear me sipping. I have no way of editing these things out like I normally do in my YouTube videos. I've done pretty good. I haven't dropped one F-bomb yet. It's probably coming though. We have the choice of multiple setups when it comes to ICT concepts. So when you're looking at the marketplace, I don't try to take any of you or all of you collectively and like silly putty press you all into the same mold because it doesn't work that way. And I felt that was likely to be the best way for me to become a trader when I tried to be like a Ken Roberts and I couldn't make it work. And then when I tried to be a Larry Williams and I couldn't make that work. And I tried to be a Jake Bernstein, seasonal tendencies only, no technicals. Just look at, okay, this is the day it should do this. And then I lost money doing that too. And I did Elliott Wave, lost money. I did Gann, lost money. I used Hurst stuff. That's a different discussion. Dow theory, simple patterns and harmonic patterns. I've done all that stuff. Heikin-Ashi, Renko bars, point and figure. I've done all of it. Every single thing out there, I've done it. Volume profile, yeah. All of those things, if they help you, when I talk about how I don't like them, and if it's useful for you, it matters not what my opinion is. But I have to be honest when I'm asked what is my opinion about them, they're gimmicks. They're reasons for something. They're the catalyst for you making a decision and you placing a bet, just like anyone else going to a roulette table and saying, yep, what's my son's birthday? Okay, I'm going to play that number on the roulette. and my favorite color is red. So that's what they come to. That's their system. That's their gimmick. That's their thing that makes them do what? Make a decision. But then they have to decide how much money they're going to bet. They're going to keep betting that over and over and over again until they blow all their money. So it matters not really what you're doing to get into the marketplace, because you can make money if you're a good money manager. You can make anything a coin flip that can be utilized as a catalyst. But if you can't let your winner run and cut short your losing positions, it matters not what you're using. So what's the advantage of my stuff? My stuff is very precise. So if you add in the fact that it's aligned with the market algorithm, times when the market's likely to do certain things, look what happened today. I told you, close your charts. What happened in the marketplace? Chop. And I've watched so many people on the internet in live streams and on Twitter and on, well, I don't have an Instagram, but I have people that send me stuff that, look at this guy, look at this lady, look at this person. They're over there trying to do this and they're calling this and they're getting chewed up. You have to know when not to do something. You have to know when your son's birthday and your favorite color isn't likely to come up on the roulette table. If it comes up right on your next spin, what's the chances of it happening again right after that? Next to zero. So you have to know when not to do something. And unfortunately, a lot of these folks out there pretending and masquerading as mentors and teachers, they haven't even been in the game long enough to know what it's like to be in a market that is not tradable. Everything's going to the moon. Everything's on fire. This market's lit. It's gonna run and blow the top off, or it's gonna melt completely down. Everything's an extreme. And I get that. That's how you can tell their length of time in trading, because everything is an emotional experience. It's all hyped up. And that's why a lot of the folks that are in that's a cult. They don't like someone like me because I'm fuddy-duddy. I'm monotone. Unless I go ratchet ICT on a Twitter space, there's really nothing, that gets all that animated. But you want to be just like this with your money. Like, do you want to be nuts and just insane with all your betting and putting money at risk on emotionalism and hyped up decision making? No. But you listen to these people and they'll tell you that they're trying to flip their account 100% every single month. And while I do believe that's possible, is it possible for you as a new startup? You just started learning about this stuff. Do you think it's realistic for you to have the even considering at all that being a goal for right now? Because if you think that's a goal for you, you won't be here long. No matter what I teach you, you won't be here long because you're going to bring in unrealistic expectations and you're going to wreck yourself. I didn't come into this industry wanting to do that, but I grew into it by buying books and listening to courses and buying authors of so-and-so's courses saying this and so-and-so's courses doing that. And later find out that, they themselves couldn't do it. So what does that tell you? So it's altogether something different. When I'm sitting here telling you on Twitter, the tweets can't be deleted. I mean, I guess I could tweet and then delete it, but I don't do that. I have people taking my tweets. They go right into I don't know if it's like a server or something, but every single one of my tweets go into a log. And believe me, if I ever delete a tweet, you're all going to know about it. Okay. But I'm not going to. I don't need to. I love doing what I'm doing because I'm teaching you the foundation to building realistic monthly percent returns. Because you have to have a target. If you have no target, you're aiming at nothing. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit nothing. So you came to me and people like me because you want to have the experience that we have or pretend to have. Now, clearly, I think I'm showing you that I can see these things before they happen. You're experiencing it. Just look at the tweets and look at the people's reactions. When you're looking at the chart and it's happening. And I know you're sitting there smirking. Right now, the corners of your mouth is turning up, that small little tug of a smile and smirk, because you know what you've been witnessing. You know that my slogan is every week, every day, and it won't stop. I'm proving it. Now, you will be able to do this skill set, but you will not in year one be able to go out every single day and find a setup like I'm doing. That's not realistic. Year two and a half, three, yeah. So, what is a goal for you? As a new student, what is reasonable, ICT? What should a new student hope to do by the end of year one? Number one, your first year is discovering who you are as a trader because you're going to go through all kinds of seasons, not just four, okay? Not spring, summer, fall, winter, okay? You're going to have some wild, crazy experiences in your own development because there's going to be times where you think you figured it out. And then all of a sudden, you're going to go into a tailspin and you're going to experience something else in the marketplace, which is a quarterly shift. And it's going to feel like everything you're doing, because you haven't aligned yourself with the market, what it's doing then, it's changed, but you haven't seen it change yet, or you're resisting it. And you're going to insist on taking a square peg and putting it into a triangle, and it's not going to fit. And you're going to be frustrated. And you're going to think, oh no, these things are being manipulated now. They're changing the algorithm. I'm not changing shit. It's staying exactly the way it is. So you need not worry about it. But you're going to be trying to think about how you are feeling, and you're never going to be able to do this. And that's not the right way of doing it. You have to relax and allow yourself to observe, experience these changes in the marketplace. They're quarterly shifts. Don't hold your opinion or your bias too hard or firm because they will be ripped from your hands. Whether you want to relinquish the grip or not, it will happen. So you want to hold things lightly. That way, when you see trouble arising in your trade, you don't go in and say, oh, I'm going to hold on and I'm going to move my stop away from where I had it initially, if you even used a stop, like I see people on live streams doing. That's a telltale sign that that person doesn't know what they're doing, because if they knew what they were doing, they would not be moving their stop once it was placed. They just submit to the fact that they're getting stopped out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That mechanism is there for your protection. That's what you're paying the stop to do, its job. Limit how much I'm willing to take as a loss. Not, I'm in a trade, holding on longer, it's not moving fast enough for me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to open my stop up more and take on more risk. How is that a good idea? See, you're going to have that experience. You're going to feel like doing that. I'm going to force you not to do that this year. And you will learn. I will teach you. By the numbers, you will be better than you are right now. And you're going to know more about price action than anybody else can show you. When you sit down on Twitter, whether you're doing it live with me or you come back to it later on when you get back home or you find time to go through it, it's important for you to understand that those tweets are time and date stamped. I can't change them. I can't edit them. I don't have a professional account or whatever they offer where you can edit your tweets. I don't do that. So when you look at these setups, if you look at these draws of liquidity, it's important for you to start monitoring what price does from that moment there. Now, if you can't watch it live, you can go onto TradingView and watch it in market replay. It's not the same as watching the candles paint real time. And you can't do like a demo trade or a paper trade with market replay on TradingView. And I hope they never allow it. I hope they never allow it, because it's wonderful for me to be able to do what I'm doing, because there's no excuse for why you can't trust this as real time. I made a post earlier today. One of the new students sent me a message, said, hey, you know, when you teach with a demo, you does it bother you other people say Oh, he only teaches in demo. And I've come to the conclusion that most recently, a lot of the folks that have that opinion of me, and I've always had that opinion. I mean, it's always been levied against me because they want to see me perform in a live account because they just want to be like I'm a entertainer, like a WWF wrestler. Like they want to pay a fee, which is their time, and I'm obligated to entertain them. No, I'm not. If I'm not entertaining you with precision with a demo before it happens, what difference does it make how much money I'm making? It makes no difference whatsoever. You just want to see that experience. So explain why I'm able to do it with just the paper trades, because I'm showing you that it's before the fact. And there's no answer to it outside the fact that it's really there. It's happening. And you can learn it instead of arm wrestling me, learn how to do it. But the student says to me, does it bother you? I was like, no, because these same individuals that are levying their opinion about whether it's being taught in a live account or if it's in a demo, they're trading with funded accounts. And funded accounts are demo. So where's the argument here? They have relevance to their own trades in demo and hope that they can be profitable because then the funded account company would pay them a profit split based on that. Do you see anybody arguing against a funded trader who gets a withdrawal while trading their demo accounts? Nobody's arguing against that. But they're going to say that about what I'm teaching you to do because they don't want you learning what you're learning here because they are all trying to sell services. I'm selling you nothing. So this entire year, you're going to have all kinds of distractions thrown at you. And you have to make a choice. Do you pay attention to that stuff or do you see what's working? Because I'm working. I'm working every single day. I'm putting it in front of you. I'm keeping you engaged. And there's no ad revenue on Twitter. Okay. I'm passionate about this. And I want this last year of my time with you all to be meaningful. And I want you to get the most out of it. But if you're going to be lackadaisical about it and have no targets, you thought I strayed off topic, didn't you? You have to have a target. You have to know what it is that you're aiming for. So what's reasonable? At the end of the first year, your goal should be able to target 6% per month. And some of you are like, what the fuck? 6%? Come on, ICT. Seriously? Like, I want to do better than that. Your first year, you're probably not going to because you're going to find these barriers that you don't even realize you have yet. You don't even know what you don't know about yourself yet until you get into that trading account, whether it be funded through a prop firm or your own money. You don't know what it feels like to have a trade on that you thought damn well it was going to do what you thought it was going to do, and you took your stop loss off because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong. You're going to take your stop loss off or open it up, and then which would have been a 1.5% loss now became a 5% loss. And now you're thinking, oh, I broke the rule. I got 5%. Man, I don't want anybody to see this. I got to fix it. And you're going to go in and try to do what? Over leverage, over trade. And that never works out well. And even if you could get it back, that's not skill. That's gambling. I'm not teaching gamblers. Okay, you want to gamble? Go to the casino. You want to learn how to manage money? You're in the right place. You want to have multiple ways as a catalyst to get into a trade? You found the right place. You want to know what the market's likely to do next? You sure as hell are in the right place. That's what I'm proving to you daily on Twitter. I'm proving it to you that you can see these things coming and you don't need a whole lot of movement to do well. Some of you have heard people say, you shouldn't have these goals because the market can't be timed and you don't know what the market's going to give you. Again, this is being spoken from people that have no fucking idea what they're doing. They're hit and miss. Their logic is lacking. They're looking at retail indicators and they're only taking trades based on that mathematical acrobatics of what price has already done, calculating all this bullshit, spitting out some kind of indicator. And instead of looking at price and watching what the fuck that's doing, where's it going? Where's it come from? They're spending all their time and anxiety pouring over indicators, thinking that that's going to be what? The crystal ball. That's the thing that helps them figure it out. That's their edge. That's their secret weapon. They won't believe that there's an algorithm. They won't believe that the market's literally being controlled to every smallest degree based on time, then price. Now this has nothing to do with time. It's only what has happened already. And they wonder why they don't do well. But they're selling courses, they're selling services, they're selling signals. When their returns and their setups don't even yield or warrant anyone wanting to pay for it. The industry is rich with a lot of bullshit. And when you come to the conclusion that 99% of these fuckers have no idea what they're talking about, when you spend time with me and you see what really goes on and how price is really booked, it's shocking. Because you start thinking about how much time did I waste doing all this other shit? Like, it's liberating. And here's my final point on everyone else, because I know some of you are listening, you're pissed off, and you're going to be trolling me going forward in the next couple of weeks or whatever, what I said tonight. That's fine. That motivates me. This whole discussion tonight was a response to someone that was talking shit about me in comments in somebody else's video about how monthly goals shouldn't be, utilized. Traders shouldn't do that. I'm like, really? And then I'm sitting here. I got a rant. I get it off my chest. So if anybody tells you that you shouldn't have a monthly goal, they're full of shit and they're a fucking clown. Okay. I'm going to show you this year how you can do this. 6% per month is absolutely doable, 100% doable. But you can't expect to be able to do that in month 1 to month, say, 9. I don't think that's realistic. Because while you might do it 1 or 2 months, what will happen is you'll think that you got your groove and then you really don't. Or you take the average trade setup that may or may not be a good setup, but you'll believe that it is, and you'll take the trade and you'll put it on, you'll put your stop loss on just like you're supposed to, and it'll stop you out. And you'll be annoyed by it. Like a rock in your shoe. Ugh, I can't stop walking, but this rock in my shoe is driving me nuts. That's what it's like when you have those types of little inconveniences. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. And when it's time and safe to do so, you stop, take your shoe off, let the rock fall out. When's that? On the weekend, when you can't do any more harm. There's logic to everything I'm telling you. If you're in drawdown right now, you stop. Don't make it worse. Even if you've blown your account last year or already so far this year, just stop. All of that shit's temporary. It's all fixed in very short time. 12 months is not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time. We went through last year. Look how fast we went through it. And I'm going to give you an experience this year that makes last year look like kindergarten. Because we're going to get out here and get our hands dirty in it. You're going to see what it feels like to be in there watching price real time. And you're going to see when the shit gets dirty and when it's good. And you're going to know when's it likely to hurt me? When's it likely for ICT to get it wrong? And when is it right for ICT to get it right? See, that's what you want to have, a mentor that can do that. You don't want to listen to these fucking clowns, okay, that are out there showing you, oh, this is what I trade I did here. Here, I think I took a trade somewhere in here. What? What? If you're going to sit down and do a video, okay, listen to me, folks. Okay, if you're doing YouTube videos and shit, you're running all this horse shit on YouTube. If I see another motherfucker go on YouTube and say, "Yeah, I did a trade. I think I took a trade anywhere somewhere," it's the same fucking day. You can't show me where you got in. Where's your price at? Where was your price? Where was your stop? Where was your target? Why the fuck can't you do that? Because these people don't trade. It's all bullshit. It's all fake. Okay. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing on Twitter. That's why I do the recordings. That's why you see me execute. That's why you see my entries, because I'm showing you over and over and over again the logic that you are wasting time right now in your mind thinking will be reversed. And you're like, oh shit, this stuff really does work, because he's engaging the marketplace exactly how he says. I'm not making shit up on the fly. It's the same shit all the time. All the time. It's the same thing repeating over and over again. It's going to have slight little variances to it. Over time, you will start to see them and recognize, oh, it's still the same thing. But these individuals that will tell you don't have monthly goals, they have no sustainability, no consistency, because they lack what it is that they're looking for all the time. Why? Because they're looking at fucking indicators. Indicators are always going to vary. Take, for instance, harmonic patterns. Okay. You want to trade the harmonic horseshoe crab. Okay. There isn't one that, but I'm being facetious because I can't stand this bullshit. And I wasted time and money on this stuff. Okay. Did I make money with it? Yes. Did I lose money with it? Yes. I found something better. I found the real market. All of that shit is nonsense. Nonsense. Cipher patterns, Gartley's, all that bullshit. You're worried about having all these ratios laid over top of your chart when you just simply look at the open, high, low, and close. What time is the fucking market trading right now? Okay, is it time to do something? All right, great. Was there a displacement? Have they taken the stops yet? Okay, where's the draw on liquidity? How fucking easy is that? How easy is that? That's fucking easy. That is so simple. But you're out here trying to figure out which fucking animal pattern, what ratio, what nonsense to lay over top of the price, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of ingenious entrapment, because here's what they've done with this bullshit. They're hiding price. And you're all out here fucking around, floundering, making a little bit of money here, because everybody once in a while wins at the casino. And they're all going to do what? They're going to pony up where they got it right. And then because of that, you get the online trade academy shit where supply and demand, this is the way the market works. No, it's not. Market profile, footprint, DOM. No, they're all gimmicks. Strip it down to a single candle or open, high, low, close bar. My eyes can't do very well with them anymore, but the open price, the high price, the low price, and the closing price, and time of day, day of week, what month of the year. All this shit matters. You honestly believe that these big fucking banks are putting billions of dollars on a fucking crab pattern? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You really believe? If you believe that shit, you just must turn this off and stop doing trading, because I guarantee you're not making any money. You're not going to be consistently profitable. You believe nonsense. That's fairy tale shit. That's nonsense. They're not going to put billions of dollars behind some nonsensical horseshit harmonic pattern labeled after an animal pattern. Think, folks. Please just stop and think. Do you really believe that investment banks are going to do that? Do you think they're going to be buying fucking diagonal trend lines? You think they're doing that? They're not. They are not. That's the bullshit that they've thrown out to all of you and me when I first started. And we chase all that shit. And we lose our money and say, fuck it, it's just too hard for me, and I'm just never going to do it. Because they know that's 90% what happens. And you don't ever really investigate the clues that they have hidden from you by doing everything fucking opposite to what these books tell you to do. It's alarming to see people still believing all of this retail shit. Even after the years I've been out here doing this and showing it and proving it, all these other students now making real money with it, but they'll still tell you you shouldn't have monthly goals. Why? What are they missing? What's missing from their approach that prevents them from seeing a consistent market return or percentage, or why they shouldn't even aspire to have one? They don't have a model that repeats. They have something that evolves constantly. They're always moving the goalpost. That's always morphing into something new. They're changing this and changing that. Sometimes they use a setting on their indicator for this. Oh, I'm a price action trader, but they're still looking at other shit once in a while, but they're not telling you. How do I know? Because these same people are in my fucking membership and they're big wigs on Twitter. But because they're my student, they have to divulge things to me and ask me, hey, look, what about this and what about that? And believe me, I've been surprised to see some of these big wigs out here that you see. And I'm not telling you their name because I'm not going to do that. But you would be fucking surprised. They don't know what they're doing. And they still wrestle even after proving this logic. They won't let go of this dumb shit that they hold on to because their image is rooted on that stuff. They don't want to just say, you know what? I've made money in this stuff. I've lost money in it. I found something better. I found the real market. I found what really drives price up and down. What holds price in consolidation? I have those answers. Me, the boring ICT 50-year-old dude that used to be a pizza delivery guy. I got all those answers. And like Willy Wonka, I'm giving out golden fucking tickets this year and it's for free. And you still are wrestling me. Dumb, dumb, fucking dumb, man. They don't want to let go of their image because if they admit they're wrong, guess what that means? I was right. And they won't do that. And to me, I think it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. I'm having such a wonderful time. Last year was fun. This is going to be fucking crazy this year because I'm going to make so many of you fucking monsters. You're literally going to change the way everything's going in your life. Just walk with me this year. I promise you, I fucking guarantee you, you are going to be a fucking savage. You're going to be able to walk in there and say, oh, yeah, it's going to go here, and this is where I should buy it. Done. Where's my stop at? It's going to be right there. I'm not opening it up. Once it's there, it's done. And I'm going to close it as the market moves in my favor or reverse it. And you're also going to look at the market and say, nope, I ain't touching it. It's bullshit. I ain't touching it. And you won't have any qualms about nothing. You'll just turn your charts off and go do what the fuck you want to do because you know, like today, it's shit show. That's what real traders do. That's what the real elite does. They're not out here fucking around with all this bullshit on their charts. They know exactly when they're going to do something, when they're not going to do something. How hard is that to understand? How hard is that to understand that if they are elites, they know exactly what you don't know, they know when to do it, and that's it. Nothing else. Everything else is bullshit. Everything else is a distraction, and it's something taking your attention away from the real moves. 6%. 6% is 1.5% per week. That is easy as hell. You can get that so easy. You don't have to do a lot. Your first year should be trying to control everyday trading. Everyday trading is a loser's recipe. You're going to get terrible results by doing that. Tomorrow, you should not be trading. That's your homework. But ICT, I want a demo. You failed. That's it. You failed. I'm telling you to not do something to test your discipline. And if you don't have discipline, you're forging it by doing this. You're creating something you lack right now. Discipline. Well, why don't you want us to trade tomorrow? I'm not trading tomorrow. Oh, because you're not doing it. We shouldn't do it. You're fucking right. What am I waiting for? Thursday is CPI. Every time I've publicly shown this year, no, I'm sorry, last year, I was dead wrong on where I thought CPI was going to go. I have to wait, just like you have to wait. The market's waiting for that. Thursday morning, it's going to be a lightning bolt, up or down. One, just like that, it goes 100 handles or so. And you're either going to get ruined if you're in it, or you're going to be shocked how fast it goes to where it goes. And then after that, we can go in there and start looking for liquidity and inefficiencies. And I think the PM session on Thursday and Friday will be the next real opportunity. But you have to do what? Exercise personal responsibility and self-control, and not do what it is you think you should be doing, because it feels what? Counterintuitive, counterproductive. You're here to learn how to trade, so let me get in front of the market and do a trade. I should be doing that, ICT. No, you shouldn't. You don't need to be doing anything, because the market's primed to do what? Wait for the big news on Thursday. You honestly believe there's a lot of people squaring up positions to do something ahead of CPI? No. Think of it like FOMC rate announcements. The market moves around, yeah, but nobody's really establishing major positions ahead of that shit, because it can go all over the place. And many times do the very opposite of what you would expect based on the release or the rate announcement or to whatever fundamental data they use. What's your multiplier? Because that's the number one thing. You have to have that. If you don't have a multiplier, you can't hit your percentage return. So what is your multiplier? Okay, close your eyes for a second. Not if you're driving. Think about the things that you've watched me engage and record entries on. Now, the entries may be similar to many other trades you've seen me enter on, but there is something that is always the same. I'm aiming for something. I'm either aiming for a fair value gap above where market price is if I'm buying. If it reaches up into that imbalance, that's where I'm unloading. Or if I'm bullish, I'm aiming for an old high or relative equal highs, something with buy side above it. I'm aiming for that because that's where the market's going to gravitate to. Every single one of these traders that will tell you don't have a monthly goal, they don't trade that way. That's my big discovery from everybody that crows and says that garbage. They don't trade like that. Their whole model is based on the entry. And I'm going to show you this year in live streams. The fucking entry is the least important thing. I'm going to purposely get in trades already moving because you're afraid right now. You're afraid of missing moves. And that's the least concern that you should have right now. There's so many fucking moves every single week. Every single week, there's so many opportunities for you to not have a fucking job. It's disgusting. But until I put your nose in front of it, hold you there against your will, kicking and screaming, and say, look at this over and over again, then suddenly it's going to be like, oh shit, there it is. The whole time it's been there. And you're complaining, I don't know why it doesn't do this. And I don't know why, because you're making a mountain out of things that are not important. I'm taking your attention to the very things that matter right now. And you're asking me about fucking Eurodollar. You're asking me about dollar CAD. Those markets are not moving right now. There's nothing behind them right now. So I'm taking to a market that moves because it's moving efficiently. When Forex starts moving around again, the same things that I'm teaching you to look and study with ES, because I'm trading that with real money, that will work in Forex. All of this shit is transferable to other asset classes. I'm not co-signing crypto. My students say so. I'll leave it at that. I'm not a believer of that. Okay. I don't want to be in crypto. But if you're a futures trader or a Forex trader, the things I'm teaching you, they're applicable to both. The only element that's different is the time aspect. Futures starts at 8:30 and Forex can start as early as 7. But ICT, I've watched you take trades before 8:30. Yes, because I'm not limited to what I'm teaching you as a model. You're all now just learning how to do these things. I've been doing this for 3 decades. So I'm a little bit more experienced. I codified these concepts. So I mean, they're mine. So it shouldn't be surprising for me to be able to do more than what you've been taught as an introduction to this. And that's all this has been, is an introduction. So it's normal for you to feel those tendencies to be frustrated and feel like you're not getting it, or it's not as easy as you hoped it would be. You should be thankful that it's not fucking easy. That makes you superior. When you finally get this shit, it's going to be real hard for some of you young folks to not walk around and act like your shit doesn't stink, because that's exactly what it did to me. And you'll get humbled. Even being good, you'll get humbled. But 6% for the first year, that's your goal. 6% per month during the first year's development, that is your end year goal. So you should start your second year with 6% per month. And then you should move to 8% by 3 months into the second year. And then 10%. And I think you should live there for at least 6 to 9 months. 10%? Oh my goodness. I was watching some guy on what was I'm trying to think, Twitter. There was like a beef going on, and I was a real discussion about it all. But they were saying, "Oh yeah, you can't make 10%. It's unsustainable. 10%." Man, what the fuck? I've literally made 23, 22, and 21% just in the last couple of days per day, and you saw my executions. Hello. Uh, yeah, 10% per month is a fucking comic strip. That's easy. That's literally easy as shit to do. It's not easy to do for someone to just walk through and took a casual stroll through YouTube on IC content. That's not realistic. Okay, so make sure you understand what I'm saying here. Year three, year three, if you go through exactly how I'm showing you this year, 10% per month is absolutely doable. I don't give a fuck. I'll stand in front of the CFTC and say, yep, you can do that too. It can happen. It's easy. That part's easy. Why? Why is it easy? How can it possibly be obtainable? Number one, you have to know what you're looking for. What repeats every single day? Now, listen, if you've been eating Doritos and chips and you're watching some sports bullshit, okay, stop, because this is the part where it really starts to get good. What repeats every single day in the marketplace? Think. A rush for the market to go one direction or the other. Here's the wonderful thing. You can be dead fucking wrong at the beginning of the day on bias. Here's the secret. Listen, you can be dead fucking wrong on your bias every single day at 9:30. Who gives a shit? Flip a quarter. If it heads, okay, I'm going to be looking to go long. If it's tails, you're looking to go short. And then you wait. Wait that first 30 minutes and see what they do. If you had a liquidity pool that they're aiming for or likely to be aiming for, in other words, if you think that the market was likely to go up to take out an old high, run some buy stops, right? And the market just immediately tanks. First 30 minutes, this is going down, 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 down. Okay. Well, now you have a easy decision to make. Is there a fair value gap that decline has created and left in its porous wake? In other words, as it's dropped down, did it leave a fair value gap up there that it can go back up into? Some of you that are scalpers may say, okay, I'm going to trust a counter trend move, and I'm going to trade up into that, and that's my trade for the morning. That's it. I'm done. Others would wait for it to go up into that fair value gap and then run to another lower low. That's a bread and butter setup. Both of them are. Which one would you personally feel comfortable doing? That's the problem with all of you. You want whatever I've done recently, that's the model you want to do. Much like when you now have seen multiple times now where I say a range shouldn't be filled in, or this is a balanced price range. My stop loss can be ultra tight, and I'm showcasing that and proving it and typing it out, saying this is exactly what it's not going to do. And now you want to abandon every other pursuit in your learning to now discover that. Because if you could just do that and put that on YouTube and on Twitter and on Instagram, you're elite. That's bullshit. You're wasting time doing that stuff. It's not to say that it's not important to learn, because I'll teach it to you, but that's not it. You have to see what happens every single day. The market's aiming for liquidity. Period. That's happening every fucking day. Every day. And next week, I'm going to have an exercise for you every single day. You cannot do anything until 10 o'clock. And then we're going to be looking for a pool of liquidity above or below the marketplace. And you have to engage that for 5 handles. And you have to do it every single day next week. Oh, what if I fail? That's fine. It's okay. You're doing it. And doing it is like working out. You don't get abs the first time you did sit-ups. You're not getting a 6-pack abs just because you watch some guy on YouTube do them. You got to get out there and do that shit yourself. So this is how you do it. Every single day, the market seeks liquidity. That's the benefit in being these lower time frames, because there's so many fucking chances to do that. And 5 handles is 5 handles easily done. Now, let's return back to that multiplier. Folks that don't have a model that repeats, that is absolutely generic, that keeps repeating over and over and over again, that's not linked to sound logic, but it's rooted in all kinds of indicator horseshit, they have no idea what pattern is going to set up next. They're just reacting to whatever the indicators are saying. They can't forecast it. They don't know when it's going to happen. Contrast that with, we know exactly when the fucking shit's occurring. We like the last hour of trading. That right there, some of you, that's the land of milk and honey, because you have all of the day behind you and you have that last hour of trading. If you see that last hour hasn't ran out a target that it's obviously aiming for, that last hour becomes real easy to trade. Or if it hits it in the afternoon session and we start going into that 3 o'clock hour to 4 o'clock Eastern time, and there's a small little shift in market structure, and it returns back to a fair value gap, look for a pool of liquidity on the 1 or 5 minute chart. 5 handles, done. But what if it goes 30? Who gives a fuck? You're aiming for 5. 5. Okay. You're doing this to make money. You're not doing this to impress people on fucking social media. That's what some of you are you're more focused about that. That's the driver for you, because that gives you what? Significance. And I understand that wholeheartedly. Believe me, I understand that. But that is a pursuit that's wasted. You want to be making money. That's why you're here. You're not in here to impress anybody. You're here to make fucking money. And you can't make fucking money if you are not consistently doing the same things. And how do you do that? You have to have a goal. Let's say, hypothetically, that your goal is to get funded with $250,000, $250,000. Now, I haven't gone through the trouble of discerning how much it costs a funded trader to pay for the access to something like that each month, and I don't know. Okay, but you're welcome to tweet to me and say this is what that company does here. To get $250,000, this is what you have to pay for. This is what you have to do, and the whole business. Okay, I don't know that. I'm just giving you some ideas to think about. Okay, but if you had $250,000 that you were funded with, whether collectively or individually in one prop firm, and you're aiming for, now you're in year 2.5 to 3 years. Okay. So you're looking for 10% returns per month. That's 2.5% per week. Now, some of you that are probably educators or mentors listening to this shit, maybe you're a professional trader, maybe you've been doing it for a long time and you think, everything I'm saying is horse shit, whatever. I'm going to prove all this year. 2.5%. If you're telling me that you got in this business and you can't make 2.5% in one fucking week, what the hell are you here for? Like, what are you doing? 2.5%? Like 2.5%. You can't do 2.5% in a course of 1 week. If you've been doing this for 3 years, you're doing something wrong. I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. Less than 2.5 years, if you're thinking you're going to get 10% consistently every single month, then that's not going to happen. So let's be real, okay? Can someone that's been versed with price action do 10% per month consistently? Yes. How? How can that be done? Well, number one, let's strip it down to the basic math, and then I'll tell you how to apply your multiplier to it. So you have $250,000 and you're aiming for 10%. So you're trying to get $25,000 for that month. So you take your 25,000 divided by 4. That needs to be broken up of, and then we're going to use just one market, and we're going to say my baby is ES. Okay. E meaning S&P. You're not worried about what NASDAQ's doing. You don't give a shit what Forex is doing. You don't care what crude oil is doing. You don't care what Bitcoin's doing. You don't care about the new coin coming out. You are focused on one market. That's it. You take your 25,000, divide that by 4, and then you take that and divide that by 5 days. But you just sat down saying that everyday trading. Yeah, you're a new student. I'm trying to take your attention away from trying to be an everyday trader when you don't know how to trade right now. There's time for all of that once you know what you're doing. You can trade every fucking session after you know what you're doing. Multiple times in the same session, you can do it. You can buy and sell in the same session once you know what you're doing. But right now, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to hurt yourself. So if I'm going to teach you, I'm going to teach you the correct way. And that means I'm going to give you realistic timeframes for when things should be expected. What happens if you do really, really well? Could you do it sooner? Yes, but that shouldn't be your goal. You should be doing this with the intent that you're going to do it with these timelines in mind, with the intent that you're going to get good with the proper amount of time to allow you to develop into it. Okay, 10%, Michael, that's a little too much for me now. Give me something more realistic. Okay, let's say it's 3%. Oh, a month? Come on, Michael. Seriously, 3%? Dude, that's like your stop loss. Yes, but here's the thing. $250,000. And if you have 3% is your model, you're aiming for 3%. Can you hit 3% in year 1 per month? At the end of it, yeah, I believe you can. Consistently, probably not every single month because you're still developing. But I think in the same frame of 2.5 to 3 years, I think 3% every single month is absolutely doable. What's the math on that? Well, for $250,000, and you're trying to get 3%, $7,500 per month. So you take that same thing, divide it by 4 weeks. And I know some of you are thinking like, this is anybody could do this. Is elementary math. Yes, but I want you to think about how you're not doing this. So it's so easy, you know the math, but you're fucking still working. Okay, you're still doing fucking oil changes at fucking Jiffy Lube. Okay, and you're going to talk to me in the comment section about how you say this and you say that, dude. If it's so easy, you do it. You record yourself. You go on Twitter, say what it's going to go to next, and you do it. Okay, and I don't see you fucking flyboys doing that. So you got $7,500 on $2,500 equity. So you funded with $250,000. You're aiming for 3%. Now, some of you are thinking 3%, fuck that, that's not enough. Listen, folks, listen to the math here. $7,500. Are you making $7,500 right now at your job? Does your boss love you so fucking much that they're rewarding you for 40 hours or more a week in the tune of $7,500 a month? Chances are you're fucking not. Okay. Now, some of you probably make more than that, and that's fine. That's great. Well done. You're still a slave. But $7,500, divide that by 4 weeks. It's $1,875 a week. Now, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money, and that's an easy objective to reach, especially if you're working with $250,000. So you do the same thing. You break that up over points. We're doing with the S&P right now. Okay. So if you take $1,875, divide that by $50. That's 1 point. Okay. Or one handle. 4 ticks is one handle or 1 point in the S&P. That's $50. Divide that $1,875 by 50. That means you have to earn a net gain of 37 and a half handles or points for the week. What? How am I going to do that? Well, per day, it's only 7.5 points. That's easy as shit. That's fucking easy. Now, you split that day of 7.5 points into 2 sessions. You have the morning session, you have the afternoon session, divide it into lunch. You take a lunch hour, go play some PlayStation, Xbox, take a nap, whatever. Come back at 1:30 and work till 4 o'clock and aim for what? The same thing you try to do in the morning. You got 7.5 points that you got to make. That's your goal. That's all you're aiming for the day. You try to get 3.75 handles. That's 1 tick less than 4 handles in the morning and in the afternoon. So aim for 4 handles in the morning, aim for 4 handles in the afternoon, and that covers your commission costs. And you'll net 3.75 handles. You do that every single day. Or if you're a swing trader and you say, okay, I can see something on the hourly chart that's going to probably move 40 handles, well, then you just do one trade and you're done. But you can split this up into small, little, tiny, bite-sized pieces. And if you've watched what I've been doing and you think that 4 handles is hard, you haven't been watching enough of my videos. You haven't been watching enough of my executions. 4 handles is nothing. Like 4 handles, that can happen in less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Like in some instances, on one minute candle, it can do 5 handles because I'm taking you into the time when the market's likely to move like that, aiming for a direction or a bias that's attacking a pool of liquidity or aiming for an inefficiency. You're not looking at indicators, you're looking at shit that repeats over and over again. So you could be taking that $250,000 account and parlaying that up to $7,500 a month, doing around $80-some thousand a year, not doing very much to do it. It's all about how you understand what repeats. I'm showing you these small little movements intraday because when you look at all the social media stuff, they all show you these big, massive runs in price that they just got lucky with. I'm showing you week after week, day after day, 100 handle moves, 50 handle moves, 30 handle moves. And I'm talking to you right now about 4 handles. That's one less than the 5 handle model that my son uses. 4 handles, folks. That's easy. That's so easy. It's insane. And you can do just one-to-one gearing and it's done. You're trying to make 3% per month on $250,000. What happens if you do that same thing each month with that same $250,000 account and you let 3% compound over and over and over again? You're making 6 figures. You're not over leveraging ever. You're never going to blow the account. You're never going to wreck yourself. And you're never aiming for something that's too hard or anxiety inducing. 6% per month doubles your account size, no matter how you slice it. No matter what you start with, at the end of the entire year, if you compound 6% every single month, it's 100% return. You have $1 million account that you funded with? Okay, aim for 6%. Oh, but ICT. Oh, ICT shit. Okay, it's this math and sticking to the same multiplier. What's the multiplier? How do you get those 4 points? I know what you're thinking. Like, okay, this sounds all easy now. Tell us, how do we get those 4 handles? How do we get those 4 points? What have I been showing you? Aim for something. What's it reaching for? A pool of liquidity. Bias has nothing to do with it. Where is it at right now? Turn your charts on at 10 o'clock tomorrow. You're not trading. This is going to be a preview for the next week. You do not turn your charts on until 10 o'clock in the morning, New York local time. Find the most recent 5 or 15-minute high or low. What's the market done since the opening? And then aim for that. See which side's been ran out initially. If they've taken out the lows and it's been run up and it's created a short-term high and it's retraced, it's chances are it's going to do what? Run that high that just made. If it offers 4 handles, then you execute in your, not your demo, in your observance of watching price. You're going to tape read that. Well, what am I looking for? A fair value gap on a 1-minute chart. It will be there. That's the wonderful thing that you're going to discover, because all this stuff repeats on all these time frames. You watch me do a 10-second trade on NASDAQ today. And yeah, it repeats over and over again on all time frames, because price is price. And price is not really referring to the things I'm showing you in charts. That's the language that I've used to bridge your understanding and what you don't and won't know about the algorithm. See, there's a difference between people that will say with harmonic bullshit, okay, and retail logic splattered all over their chart, and say that's what the banks use. This is the algorithm. No, that's not. That's retail bullshit, and that's why it's failing you, and you're blowing out publicly. And I'm showing every single day precision at work. Now, you don't have to like me, okay? We don't have to be friends at the end of this year, okay? But give me the opportunity to make you into a fucking beast, okay? I don't give a shit what you think about me as a person. I don't give a shit if you like my personality. I don't think that even matters, okay? But I am so ready. I am so ready to transform all of you. But you have to be here. You have to show up, and you have to engage, and you have to study, and you have to look at the shit and forget all the other shit you think you know. Put it all down. You'll believe me, I guarantee you, you will see right away there's something totally different when we're watching real-time price action. Because it's going to be a plain, simple chart. And you're going to watch these candles paint, and they're going to communicate with one another. They're going to react to one another, and they're going to live and breathe and move across the chart in a way that's going to make perfect sense. After several months of doing it, you're going to know exactly what it's doing without me saying it. And when you start hearing me say exactly what you're thinking, you understand exactly how to read a tape. You have then, at that moment, learned a skill set that I can't write down in a book. I can't make a video for you, because that's what you want. You want these 5-minute trainers. Learn ICT concepts in 5 fucking minutes. Man, seriously? You can't. My shit's been out there since last year, okay? I want to see these individuals that are saying they can do it in 5 minutes, and these 5-minute video trainers go out and trade it live. Go out there on Twitter like I'm doing. Call the level it's going to be traded to next, and then record yourself doing a precision entry with a stop loss and targets being filled. Stop making 5-minute bullshit, okay? You can't learn this in 5 minutes. I can't compress 3 decades into fucking a year. I couldn't do it. It took several years to get it this far. It's just it's deep. It's very, very deep. And you can go really, really, really far with your learning with this and become a freak with it, like I am. Like, to me, it's amazing. I love it. But you don't need to be like this to make money. You can just do what I showed you last year, and that's it. That's beautiful. You can make all kinds of money with that. But what repeats every single day, that these folks that will tell you don't have a goal. Don't have a fucking goal. Don't have a percentage return, because math doesn't matter. And the logic they use in trading is flawed. So it makes perfect sense. They'll argue and say, oh, they're going to show you a spreadsheet, and they're going to pull up a calculator, and they're going to do this and going to do that. But they're not going to be able to do it because this, that, and the other thing. Now, bullshit. I'm already showing you. I'm bringing the receipts that I can read this shit real time on any fucking time frame. Any time frame. I showed you with the daily chart. I showed you with the weekly chart. I showed you with the 4-hour chart, the hourly chart, the 15-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the 1-minute chart, the fucking second charts. 10 seconds now, folks. 10 fucking seconds. Do I got to do it with 1-second charts? Because I'll fucking do it next week too. And you still will see doubters because they can't do it. Fuck them. They don't matter. They don't matter. They cannot hold you back. But you're going to let them. Some of you will let that bullshit creep into your head and you will ignore the fucking evidence that I'm proving and showing and giving you a testimony every single fucking day. Here it is. It's right here again. Here it is. Here it is. Take your attention to this chart. Look at that candle right there. It's going to go here. It's going to go there. You have to have a target. You have to. If you have no target, how the fuck can you measure your progress? Are you hitting the mark every single time you aim for it? How can you realistically gauge progress and development? You're going to be spinning your wheels, which is exactly why this fucking industry has break even to blowout. 90% of the club. First 3 months, that's exactly what happens. How many times have you seen me get it wrong? Yeah, how about that? I'm publicly doing it. I'm pointing to it. I'm calling it. I'm recording myself doing it. How the fuck can I cherry pick it? I've already co-signed where it's going. You know where I'm aiming for. You know the logic I use for trades. My trades are one-sided. If you can paint the direction on both sides, that's not high probability. I wouldn't be in that fucking move. So you take that logic of knowing what we're looking for. The multiplier is your setup, your model, the thing that you trade over and over again. You don't give a shit about anybody else's pattern. You don't care what ICT's fucking trading. You don't know what anybody else in the community is doing. You don't give two shits what they're doing. You found your setup, your model. What does that look like? Well, I just showed you one the other day. I gave you a breaker that I thought was going to be, something I can watch and see it melt down. If it would have broke through, then I would have used a fair value gap and I would have done something with that trade. But I told you to wait to the open and what? In 15 minutes. And in that time period, waiting, I saw what I was looking for wasn't going to pan out. And if I have a time limit or a filter on saying I can't engage at 9:30, I got to wait. I can't get in ahead of 9:30. I have to wait. Why? PAL. And we are 2 days away from CPI. And it's treated much like what? Non-farm payroll. So you have to be very, very diligent about keeping your level of frequency and trade and engagement limited. Be very, very selective on what you're trying to do. Because these market conditions you watch today is generally what you see coming into CPI. Big money starts sitting still. And the algorithm will paint sideways, run small little shallow runs above highs and lows intraday, and just look aimless like Eurodollar. It's still doing something. 2, 3, 4, 5 handle, pip moves. But that's not what I want to be trading. Can I go in there and do that just to prove it to you? Yes. But I want to teach you the right way of looking at a market that's really moving. That's where I'm taking your attention. And I've been there for months. That's index futures right now. And Forex might get crazy again. And if it does, I'll migrate right back over to Forex. But right now, the risk is too high for what it's giving out. No, thank you. So if you're looking at a pattern like I was explaining, if I'm looking at something in the chart that might lend to a breakdown, but it's not doing it, if it's resisting it, then it's going to be a fade for me. And I'll immediately override that waiting 15 minutes and buy it and accumulate my position in that breaker that would otherwise be what? A premium array that I would go short on. If it's rejecting that, it's saying, no, I'm not doing that, then I have to do what? I have to concede and say, okay, I was wrong in my analysis by having that on my chart. And then I have to do what? Either make the decision to do nothing, stand on the sidelines, or reverse. So that's what I did. I went in, I built up and accumulated a long position inside that breaker, showed you the balanced price range. My stop loss was not going to be affected by it. And I trust me, my ego loves the fact that you're all astounded by that. But I have so much other shit that you're going to see this year that it's going to make that look like nothing. Okay, that's nothing. You're entertained by that. And that to me is fucking crazy because I am going to show you shit that Tony Stark's going to wish he fucking had his hands on. Nobody has the shit that I'm bringing this year. And I'm going to dazzle your ass. And it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be, like I said, my victory lap. And I'm going to be waving as I go out in December. All the receipts will be there, and you'll have all the experience walking with it. You saw me reach for a target, simple little fib projections and time. That's all that was. And I was 1/4 of a point, one tick off the high. And that pisses me off because I thought for sure I was going to nail the actual high. And I was off by one tick. And then it collapsed and went back down into take out the low, which I said was the balanced price range. Which you're probably wondering, okay, how did I know it was a balanced price range that later on became a range that could have been taken out? Everything I just outlined. If it looks like a sell and it's setting up a sell and it's rejecting it, then it's going to do one of two things: go consolidation, which I didn't see that happening. Because why? Pal, the effect of him talking. Traders are going to be reading into that bullshit. I don't even know what the hell this guy says. I don't ever care what he's saying. I don't care. I don't ever read those fundamental data. I don't read any reports. I could give two shits about what they'd say. I don't care about that stuff because price is going to tell me everything. Because price is manipulating the minds and influencing all the decisions in every trader around the world that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And that's how I was able to look at something. I was ready to do something. And I was like, nope, that's not happening. Reverse is going up. And then, boom, there it was. Went back into the new week gap opening. I said, I want to take 10 off there. You saw me do that. And at the high of the gap, I took something off there. And as it ran up, it had a nice expansion on the upside through that gap opening on Sunday's opening. I took another portion off, and then you watched me run right into the target. Only off by one tick. Folks, that's not luck. That's not luck. That's logic. It's not rooted on any horse shit out there. Nothing. John Murphy don't have it in his books. Everybody else out there talking horse shit, nothing. Nothing. It's a simple understanding of time and price and understanding market sentiment. You'll learn about that this year. I'm going to be talking about it every single day. I'm going to be talking about where retail will see the marketplace and where those instances are where retail is arm wrestling smart money. We are looking for those points right then and there. That's when our high probability setups are occurring. That's your multiplier. That's your pattern. That's the thing that you're going to do every single time you go in there and look for a trade. That's what you hunt. If it's not there, guess what you're doing? Nothing. And you're not going to regret it. You're not going to feel anxious. You're not going to fear missing out on something because who gives a shit someone's trading a breaker over there? Who gives a shit they're over there trading an institutional order flow entry drill over there? Who cares if they're trading in a market maker buy model when you're selling short, you're looking to sell short? Who gives a shit? That's not your trade. That's not your trade. That's equivalent to seeing somebody else's significant other and saying, wow, I'd like to get a hold of that. But you're married to somebody else. You can't do that. I mean, I guess you could do it and get yourself in trouble. But the point is in trading, you don't want to do that. You cannot do that. You got to stick to what you are married to, and that's your model. That's your market. That's your multiplier. The thing that you're going to do over and over and over again, and that is going to be multiplied with the heavy lifting of money management. Because if you're aiming for 3% or 10% or 6%, that's a static return that you're aiming for every single month. Your risk need not be high to meet these thresholds in terms of returns. Not even 1%. How about 3/4 of 1%? What if you risked 0.75, which is less than 1% risk? And nobody writes books about this shit. Nobody makes videos on YouTube about this stuff. Nobody makes courses. They don't teach their shit with this logic. Okay. But if you're going to have the advantage of having funded account balances, which you really don't have, but they're going to offer you that, and you're able to take money out like you see my students all around the world doing now, I promise you they're still trading way beyond where they should because they want these big windfall victories. You don't want that. Not when you first start out. You don't. As much as you want to believe you want it, you don't want that. You want this shit to be steady Eddie, easy money, something that's easy to do over and over and over again. You're not trying to flip your fucking account. You're trying to take money out of it. Every single opportunity that you can take the money out and they allow you to do a payout, you do it. But what I want to let it grow. Fuck that. How do you know this company's going to be existing 6 months from now? And what if you work that account up and you build it up and you build it up and you build it up, and all of a sudden regulation steps in and says, yeah, we're going to change the way this is being done. You don't think it can happen? Nothing would surprise me anymore. Nothing would. So as you make the money, you get the fucking money. You secure the bag, you pay your fucking bills, you get your ends meet, and there you go. You save some money up and get your own account. You have to have multiple streams of income. One stream of income isn't going to be it. I'm a millionaire and I still have multiple streams of income. I'm not going to bed at night sleeping about who's going to watch my fucking videos. Okay. I'm not worried about, am I going to be able to get a trade tomorrow? I'm not worried about ever doing a mentorship ever again. Think, folks, if you're worrying about money, you have a full-time job in fear, and it doesn't pay well. It gives you ulcers, it gives you stress, it's toxic, it makes you miserable to be around. And I'm telling you how to change all that. Because if you don't change that mindset and start seeing how this is obtainable, your model need not be complicated. Even though you might look at what I'm teaching and see how intricate it can be and sophisticated in many ways, it need not be that way for you. Look what I've been able to do with last year's model. And you can simplify everything that I teach just like that. And like I said, I'm going to literally teach you late entries after a move already started. I'm going to show you how to enter doing that. And it will still beat your fucking job easily. And you need not be afraid. I'm going to show you how it's not chasing price. I'm going to show you the contrast of what chasing price is and when it's not chasing price, but still offers you a low risk, high probability entry. Folks, listen, there is no excuse this year. You have no excuse. Zero. The only excuse you have is you didn't show up every day. And then there it is. I guess that's it. But if you show up every day, you have no excuse. I'm going to lay it in your hands. You're going to handle it. You're going to see it. You're going to feel it. You're going to experience every aspect of seeing when the market's going to do this and when it's going to do that and when it's likely to fail. And you're going to see me get it wrong and how I'm going to engage it. You begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded, and now I'm going to give it to you. So there's going to be a lot of folks out there just going to watch and see if I get it wrong. That's fine. I want you to go into this with the intent that you're learning how to do this. And you're also going to see how often I get wrong. How often do I get it right? How often and how precise is what I'm going to show you and where the market goes? That can't be faked. And there will be no other recourse for anybody else to say, well, it's luck or it's cherry picked. How can I transfer cherry picking logic? People out there are doing it. They're making money. So how can anyone argue against this when you are going to get a free ride for the whole year with good old ICT? The benefits of knowing what your multiplier is and your model is that you will know exactly what you as the trader are going to do. You're not trying to keep up with somebody else on social media. You're not trying to keep up with me. You're not trying to win some kind of bullshit contest. You're in here trying to make money. That's it. That's all this boils down to. Making money and enjoying it and having fun. Making money doesn't need to be fucking boring and stuffy, but it needs to be easy. Because if it's not easy, you're not going to stick with it. Because if it's easy, you'll be able to do what? You'll be able to weather doing it wrong once in a while. Oh, okay, shit. You know, I did that wrong. Okay, it's no big deal. Why should you be carefree and lighthearted about taking a loss? Because your model, your multiplier, will still fucking work. You just did something erroneous. You watched me do it today. I could have kept that from you today. When I was closing, I was next to my son. I said, okay, look, dad's going to short this here in a really sloppy, ugly range. I said, go through all those candles. What do you see? He goes, I see that fair value gap, Dad. I said, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm looking through all those fucking ugly candles and I'm looking right there because that's exactly what the algorithm sees. It's not looking at every single one of those individual 1 minute candles. It's looking at what? That fair value gap. And it's going to go back to it, return, back to it, return, back to it, return. And then it's going to do what? It's going to reprice lower to that fair value gap that's shaded in blue. I had 6 on, and I took 3 off as I was updating online saying, okay, I was telling my son, I said, now watch this, Caden. It's going to go below here, and Dad's going to take off 3 below that. And it just started shooting down real quick. By the time I had the line drop, I said, okay, let me just hit it. And then I put my thumb over top because it's a touchscreen laptop. And yes, I use a laptop when I'm on the internet. Whenever I'm doing anything with YouTube, I'm on that. My screens are on a different ISP. I let nobody's sharing my ISP. I never send emails through that. Nothing. Nothing is linked to any of my account holding computers. None of that shit is like that. So yes, I use a laptop and my screen's touchscreen, and I have my thumb on the upper left-hand corner on the hot buttons for buying back the short. So when I tapped the first time, it was already set to cover 3 of them, and then I hit it again and covered it. And then I was moving the screen and then I'm bumping it one more time. And it ended up putting me long 3 contracts. So I turned to my son. I said, okay, look what Dad just did. I'm in the position, covering it, and then I hit it one more time. So now, right now, if it keeps going down, Dad will lose. So I have to do what? How do I fix this? So you're watching a sped up version of it. I'm giving you the dialogue of what I was telling you at the time. I type it out for you in the recording nonetheless. But I said, right now, I'm net long in a position, but by error. I'm not trying to profit, but I've done something as a human that was not correct. So I saw this a couple times in the tweets too. They're like, but you just got done telling us if we were a mistake, we should get out right away. Yes, that's you. You don't know anything. So to keep the market from crushing you or beating you up and making you feel like a fool, I've done this a little bit. I've been to this rodeo a couple times, so I know what it feels like to be doing it. And if I make an error like that, if it's feasible for me to do it, I will fancy dance and finesse my exit to cover the costs. Now, I've done that before and it has handed me my ass. Now, don't get it wrong, okay? Because I've done this and it's been ugly. But because I'm ICT and I got a little bit of a fucking ego, I'm going to show you, and like I showed my son, that's usually what I'll try to do, unless it's really a fast market, which it wasn't today. It was just a really, choppy, just doing the normal bullshit of a consolidation market. So I felt pretty confident that the bottom end of that fair value gap wouldn't be pierced, and it would allow me to go back up and allow me to get out of that. And you watch me do it. So there's a distinction and also a context applied to. Yes, I can trade outside of what I taught in last year's model. Yes, I can trade outside of kill zones. Yes, I can trade outside the times I've given you. Well, I want you to do that. Look, I want you to learn what I taught. How's that work? Okay. I'm not obligated to dance for you. But if you're here to learn, how about working within the rules I've outlined for you instead of trying to color outside the lines like I do? I can use that model, but I want to broaden your expectations as a developing student where you're not limited to just that. I want you to have a more independent mindset where you're not trapped into one mold. That model that I gave last year is beautiful. It's perfect. It's nothing needed in it. It's so perfect. But it's not enough for me because I am a nut with this shit. Like, I want to be everywhere. I want to be everywhere in everything because I'm obsessive. I can't fix that part of me. So don't get mad because I can go in there and do other shit. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to distract you or derail you from following what I put out last year. Some of these people that have gone through and found profitability, they don't give a fuck what I'm teaching from now on. They don't care. They'll watch it for entertainment value, but they're not getting changed from what they're doing right now. They know they found their shit. That's their multiplier. That's their model. That's the thing they're going to use to make money. They're not going to deviate from that. They don't give a shit who's coming out with something new. They know exactly how they're making money. They know their way to work and they know their way home. That's what you're looking for. And for some of you, it might be a forced engagement outside of the times that I've given you. You have a job, okay, you're gonna have to get up a little bit earlier. That doesn't necessarily mean you got to trade in London. It just means you might have to do something a little bit earlier. And guess what? 4 to 5 handles can be found before 8:30. It's simple stuff, folks. But will you be able to trade the entire daily range if you're trading before 8:30? Probably not, because you're trading ahead of the manipulation. So you can't be in traffic driving during 8:30. And if you're in traffic, there's an accident, and now you're looking at the marketplace, and all of a sudden your phone doesn't have connection, and you can't get to your broker to get out of the trade. Yeah, you don't want to be in that situation. So you're going to have to find a way to engage, or you simply can't trade. And for some of you, that's going to be a brick wall that you don't want to engage or meet and come to terms with. But you're going to have to make changes in your life. Some of you will have to do that to be able to do this for a living. And there's no way around it unless you're trading a daily chart, which you can. You're going to have really wide stops, really, really, really small positions, and takes forever for your trades to pan out, but it can still be done. You can make 3% using a daily chart, never even trading a lower time frame. There's nothing says that can't be done. It can. I personally can't do that because, well, look today. I can look at a 10-second chart and see dozens of trades inside of 3 hours. I could be in here firing them off, boom, 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 Tommy gunning it, just laying it out there and have a field day, which is exactly what I was doing with those MT4 accounts. Everybody claims was what? MT4 server. That's some bullshit. Look what I'm doing on TradingView with a 10-second chart. That's the same shit I was doing using my charts through the MT4, seeing my charts and then timing it with the MT4 platform. So when I was running up those $1 million accounts, nothing was done with trickery. Every single position that I did a new pyramid in, I was risking 4, sometimes 5% on every new position. If you're drilling it that hard and you keep building and building and building and building, it doesn't take long to build that up, folks. It does not take long to do that, but you have to know what the fuck you're doing. And over a course of a month and 2 months, 3 months, shit, it's just math. It's just math. But for some of you out there, especially Goldman Sachs alumni, you couldn't accept it. Too fucking bad. Sucks to be you. But you're all going to get a taste of all that fun stuff this year. You're going to have all kinds of fun with ICT live. And when you have all this information in front of you, at the end of this year, all the things you're going to look back and say, these are the questions I had that I thought they were paramount. And they were hindering my learning when they should have never been a cause for concern. You're going to know exactly how to go forward without me. You won't need to watch my videos. You won't need to come back and see what I'm talking about. You won't need to have a handheld experience with me. You will be independent. You won't need to buy some bullshit software. You won't have to be subscribed to nobody's signal service. You won't have to be part of some fucking Discord, chat room, Telegram, fucking Facebook groups, all that bullshit. That's all distraction. You want to be living your life, not chained to social media. Fuck social media. Fuck Twitter. Fuck all of it, because it's a drain. And once you get to that point, when you can sit back and say, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. I know when I should not be doing it. Right there, that right there puts you in the upper 5%, because most people don't know that. They don't know what the fuck they're looking for. They're reacting. Oh, price has been going up. It's probably going to keep fucking going up. And then you go in there and do what? You buy the high. Then it retraces a little bit and you say, okay, I'm done. I got to get out of this. You get out and then it rips higher. And you think nobody makes money. No, you just fucked up. You don't know what you're doing. Contrast with, I know I shouldn't touch this, but I'm going to observe it. I'm glad I didn't do that, because if I would have done what I used to do, I would have lost money. And then by doing that week after week, seeing the times when you shouldn't be trading, you get grounded. You don't feel like you're missing anything. You don't miss anything. Yeah, there's going to be moves. If you go down to a 15-second or 30-second chart and look at the 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour, you can see all kinds of model 2022 setups in there over and over and over again, both directions. There's plenty of setups. That's what these high frequency algorithms are doing, folks. They're not trading on 5-minute charts. Okay. They're on the second charts. They're way below where you're paying attention. And they're firing off over and over and over and over again. And there's a marriage between that algorithm that's seeking to engage with the algorithm that delivers price in the marketplace. And that's the real dance. That's the soiree that takes place every single market day that no one's talking about. No one's talking about it because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about when they're looking at charts with harmonic this and that, moving averages and horseshit. None of that stuff makes these markets go up and down. None of it. It's money. It's the liquidity, the orders. And if it's not the orders where it's going to go there with the intent to do what? Create it and engineer it. And they're going to come back and get it later on. But you're looking at the depth of market thinking you're figuring this shit out. I got level 2, baby. ICT's full of shit. He's looking at order blocks. I got all this. Yeah? Put your chart on the fucking screen live when I'm doing it, and you call every minute candle like I'm going to fucking do. I'm going to paint you a fucking Picasso every fucking day of fucking, every time I get on that fucking live stream, you're going to see something. I'm going to paint a fucking Monet. Okay. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to choke you sons of bitches that doubt all this stuff is algorithmic, because you're going to have nothing to say. Nothing. And you're all going to be converts by the end of the fucking year. Okay. You might be secretly converted, but you're going to be converted. You're going to be watching every fucking video I've ever made, downloading everything in case I fucking get a case of ass and delete it all. I'm not. Don't worry. But I can't wait for all of you to have the confidence. You think this is arrogance. It's not. I already know what that fucking market's doing tomorrow. I know what it's going to do on Thursday, partly, not CPI. That's the part I can't do. I don't care. I'll stand aside, let it do what it needs to do. But guess what happens after 20, 30 minutes after that happens? I'm in there again. They can't stop you from doing this, folks. Until they turn the markets completely off, they shut the show down completely. There is no way they're going to stop you from doing what I'm teaching you. There's no fucking way they can. That's the understanding you get. Once you see what it is I'm teaching you, there's no fucking way that they can stop you from doing this. There's no reason for you to fear it not working in the future. This is how the markets fucking work. How hard is that to understand? Like, this is it. This is the source. This is it. You're going right to where the rubber meets the road. And that's exactly what these folks that tell you not to have monthly goals don't know. They can't stand when I'm out here every single day telling you what's about to happen and happens. They're punching the fucking air. They're flipping the fuck out. They're talking in little circles or little discords in their fucking chat rooms. Oh, I think he's a fucking dick. You know, look at him. He's over here talking this bullshit. He's over here cherry picking. Cherry picking what, motherfucker? I'm putting it out there in public. Everybody sees it. And when you have this skill set, you're going to feel exactly what I feel. And some of you that are weaker and younger, you're going to do the same shit I did when I was 20 some years old. I was the biggest dick, the biggest prick there ever was. And you can hear it sometimes. It's still in me. That young man still likes to raise his head up once in a while. But the old man in me has to remind his ass, sit the hell down. But that humanity in me is still there. But you're going to feel what it feels like to know what you know. And nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can make you forget about it. They can't discount it. They can't say it doesn't work. Who gives a fuck how many people are going to doubt you? Listen, you start making $50,000 a fucking month. How many people will it take for you to be convinced that what you're doing is bullshit? How many people will it take for you to be convinced that you making over six figures every 6 fucking months consistently? How many people will it take for them to convince you that what you're doing is a waste of your fucking time? How many people does it take you to do that? Hmm? There ain't enough. There ain't enough. And you're going to understand you're bulletproof. Who gives a fuck who likes you and doesn't like you? Who cares? Is it going to change how you sleep, where you sleep, how you eat, how you raise your children? No. What you do with your money is your fucking business. You don't owe anybody an explanation what the fuck you're going to do with your money. None. But they're all going to tell you what you should be doing with it, what you shouldn't have done with it. So don't even invite them into the conversation. You got to keep those types of people, which is the public, the social media fucking clowns. They're all going to pretend they know something better, and they ain't bringing shit to the discussion. To let them influence anything in your development is stupid. Look around. There's people making real money, respectable levels of money, and they made it without their own money, which is even more crazy now. And think about it. If I would have had the opportunity to do what you all have today when I was younger, man alive, I don't even know where the hell I'd be. Like, I don't know. Like, that's like you are in a period of time where you need to learn how to do this properly and seize this opportunity because it may not be here long. And don't let that be a rush. Oh, I better learn to do it quicker and I'm going to do it fast now because I can't trust. The ICT even thinks it's going to go away. It's just my opinion. My opinion is just that. It's not, it's not how things are going to pan out. That's how I interpret it. Do you have time to do it? Yeah, I think you do. There's a lot more people out there losing money and having to reset their account. That's how they make their money. But I'm really interested to test that fucking shit and make more profitable students and see what company I can shut the fuck down. I was literally telling Caleb the other day, I said, you know what? It would be fucking great if I could get into one of these companies, but not let them know it's me. Like, I don't want to be known because right away, it's going to be like, oh shit, ICT's here. They'll let me in the door because they want to copy everything I'm doing. But I want to go in under the radar, right? And this is what I was telling my son. I said, I go under the radar, go in there, make a little bit the first month, shit myself the second, third month, bring it down, do like a 50% drawdown, and then creep back up, and then go up, $250,000, $300,000, and then lose half of it because that way they feel like okay, they're gonna blow their account. Just give them time, and then run that bitch up to like $3 million and see if they'll pay out. Like honestly, like I don't know if they could do that. Could they cash that check? Because honestly, that's exactly what I was telling Kayla the other day. I was like, I'm so tempted to do that shit in 2024, just the under the radar, just like, yeah, try it. I'm just watching. I don't know much about the prop firms and the shit like that, but that's exactly what I've been contemplating. Because once I'm done teaching, I'm going to be doing my own personal shit. But it doesn't mean I'm disappearing off the fucking planet. I'm going to still be on YouTube and doing stuff, just not to the degree and level you're seeing now. But I have a lot of things I want to look into, and that's one of the things I've contemplated doing.